What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream here to talk altcoins, here to talk the overall crypto market as Bitcoin closed above $61,000 on the weekly, a bit of a higher low, and all of crypto Twitter has turned very bullish. I'm seeing a lot of, influencers talking about alts are about to run. I do think alts are they're going to run. I don't know if they're about to run right now, but talk about what I've been doing. I've been buying some stuff. I've been active, freeing up some money to buy some more stuff because I do think that now is a great time to be in the market. It's kind of like a second chance. If you were here, months ago buying alts and things were popping off. People were buying, bought Tectum super cheap, went up to $45. Naka went to $3. A bunch of these coins, Miria exploded. A bunch of these coins were popping off. Playable games did 100x. And at the time, people were asking if now is a good time to get in. Now is a good time to get in. So we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So let's see who we got in the chat and let's talk some alts. Ivan the Terrible, VV Viral in the house. What's good? He is first. Yeah. Sorry. Dino. Nodes. Correct. Mamai. So those were two bad plays. And those are... So I've had lessons along the way. And one of the things that I picked that I learned from earlier this year was don't market cap hunt too hard. And that led me to, Node Snaps was a market cap hunting mistake where I was looking for something cheap because other things had already run. Mamai was that's Adam's project, and unfortunate what happened there. Adam is someone who was in the he's part of the VV community, the OMI community, started his own token, and that didn't end well. But they are lessons learned. In the last 8 months, I've had Node Snaps, not a good one. Mamai didn't end well. And I also got into something that was a honeypot. So if you stay in crypto long enough, you're going to get rugged, you're going to get shit on. And that's why it's important to do due diligence and not go too hard on any one thing, especially the small caps. Same here. I was looking for cheap market caps. Yeah. And that's a hazard of it, right? So when everything's popping off and, things are 50x, 100x, people don't want to buy those things. And so you look for cheap plays. And when you do that, you can get burnt. So crypto is a super scammy place, right? And if you stick around in it, you're bound to get rugged. And hopefully it's not a large amount, and hopefully it's a lesson learned. But the good news now is that everything is cheap, and now is the time to be picky, right? Now is not the time to market cap hunt. Now is not the time to go looking for something that's like a sub $1 million market cap that could explode, because you don't need to take on all that risk when everything is at a discount relative to where it was when the market was hot. Market caps definitely matter because the multipliers are different. Correct, but it should not be the end-all, be-all. And what happens is when you make it the end-all, be-all, you can end up getting screwed, right? If you're just market cap chasing. So we learn lessons in crypto, at least we should, so that we don't repeat mistakes. Ron in the house. What's good, Ron? Eli, good to see you. When and what will the next Chuck run up look like? Target 100 mil. Where will this volume come from? New buyers or existing one? Thanks. So yeah, Chuck got off to such a hot start, gained momentum really quickly. Well, it was out a few weeks. And in its initial few weeks, Chuck was sideways and there wasn't a lot of volume. There weren't a lot of buys coming in. And it was like that meme where that, guy is telling his, do something meme. And then it started picking up and momentum started picking up. And then it kind of took off, went to a $30 million market cap. Then there were some big sales from only a few small people who started a downward trajectory. And now things seem to have bottomed out for Chuck. And the question is, where will the new buys come from? I think once it picks up steam again, momentum breeds momentum. And so there was momentum. You saw what that momentum up looked like. And in crypto, people chase candles, right? People will chase. And so once I think the momentum shifts back to the upside, I do think that people will chase. You'll get new people coming in who have seen it, who've heard of it, who'd never jumped in. You'll have existing buyers buy more. So I think it's just a matter of momentum. You'll have traders come back. You'll have bots come back and trade it. So we'll see. The thing about Chuck is that at its peak of a $32 million market cap, it had about 2,000 holders. It's now at just under a $3 million market cap, and I think has 3,300 holders. So we'll see what happens. It's a meme coin. Justin says no memes. I think memes are fun. And if you do well on a meme, I used to say no memes, but this cycle, you know what memes are going to do. All right. And so I don't go heavy on memes. Got some cocky new. I've got my Chuck bag. I got the DJ Teach token, and I just picked up a little bit of another base meme, Carlo. But meme at your own risk. I do think Chuck will make a comeback. The community is strong. Is Omi dead? I don't think Omi's dead. It's not dead. The community's, again, very strong with Omi. I do think it's a second cycle token in a narrative that is last cycle's narrative. To me, the biggest... So, Omi is more fundamentally strong in some ways now than last cycle. There's actual utility. More utility should be coming with Omi to NFT. And so they should start burning. It's on base now also. It's on a couple of more small exchanges. Fundamentally, Omi is stronger than it was last cycle. But fundamentals and pumpamentals are two different things. And in crypto, as you see with memes, right, pumpamentals trump everything. And my biggest thing with Omi is it's in a sector that I don't think is good. Like last cycle, that was a hot sector, right? It was, digital collectibles, NFTs were popping off. It was new. It was nascent. It was a paradigm shift. The perfect, conditions for a bubble. Couple that with the metaverse narrative, and it was just, perfectly situated there. Combine that with like the digital collective, with the licenses that they have and the community, and it was dope. But, I don't necessarily think that, I feel like memes have replaced NFTs this cycle in terms of the degen money. And you see digital collectibles across the board are not doing well. It's not, it's not just Vivi who are still selling out some things, but obviously, Vivi's numbers are a far cry from where they were. If you look at McFarlane, if you look at Cryptoys, those are platforms that are more Web3 that have those things that a lot of people want from Vivi, and they're still not, doing numbers. So I think it's a macro thing. And then I think it's a second cycle for OMI. Those bag holders are going to look to sell, but we'll see what happens. Super strong community. Have memes got overheated? Some, yeah. And I think memes are going to go in, they obviously go in cycles. You had like the soul memes running. You got a lot of base memes popping off. And they pop off and then they dump down. The strong ones, the resilient ones will make a comeback and go to $100 million market caps, etc., and beyond. But I think it's not going to be like last cycle for memes. I think they're going to be popping off throughout. Not in the previous cycle, memes, it was meme season, right? In that kind of signal that a top. Whereas now, because of the accessibility and the ability for anyone to mint, and you see all these 1 million coins being, minted on Solana and now Base. It's so easy to create these coins. Now you've got celebrities coming in. So I think it's going to be consistent throughout. Memes will be here. 99% of them will die immediately. Yeah. Looking to pick up some more AI tech and tech. And that's exactly what I did and exactly what I'm going to do this week. So let's first talk about the overall market. Bitcoin closed above 61,000 on the weekly, which was bullish, signaling to a lot of people perhaps a reversal as we head into summer. Right now, almost 62K. For me, it's a matter of when, right? Bitcoin takes off and everything else follows. Make no mistake, we're in a bull market, and it doesn't feel like we're in a bull market right now when alts have bled so heavily. But think about, what your portfolio looks like, and Bitcoin is making a higher low in the $60,000 range, right? There's nothing more bullish than that, right? Than the market feeling bearish, but Bitcoin is at $62,000. So it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin breaks out of this range that it's now been in for 3 months. And maybe it goes sideways for another month or two. Maybe alts continue to bleed as it's range bound. But make no mistake about it, barring some unforeseen black swan, something that's totally unexpected, we're going to get our alt season and things are going to go crazy. And so for me, I don't let second chances pass me by. I take advantage of, what's given to me. This is called a reaccumulation phase for a reason. I'm reaccumulating. And in many cases, I've doubled up on my bags of my highest conviction plays. Because like I said, and Dino said before, now is not the time to look for micro caps and the smallest market caps. Now is the time to accumulate high conviction plays, whatever that is for you that you've done research on. I've been rebalancing my portfolio, selling things that I don't love for things that I do love so that I can stack up as much as I can. Because make no mistake, we're in a bull run. S&P 500, NASDAQ, both had record closes today. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon hit record highs. This is on the heels of Jerome Powell gave some remarks today talking about inflation cooling off and getting back into getting back to deflationary times, right? So of course, people then look to rate cuts happening perhaps in September, end of third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter, which happens to coincide with the US election, right? But you've got S&P closing above 5,500 for the first time. You've got the NASDAQ hit the 20,000 mark, also notching a record high. Bitcoin at $62,000. creating this, strength in its chart that is going to be support moving forward, right? This range used to be heavy resistance, and now it's going to grow into support. And eventually, crypto is going to hit new all-time highs in its overall market cap, because while the S&P and NASDAQ have both, hit new all-time highs, crypto is still, let's see where we're at, $2.29 trillion overall market cap for crypto. So still about 30% off its all-time high for the entire sector. All right, so it's going to happen. It's a matter of when. And every day is a step closer. ETF inflows are, if you look at the data, you see that we had more outflows, and now the inflows have flipped green. You're seeing a Solana proposed ETF, and now BlackRock acquired an indexing firm, perhaps for the reason of launching Solana and XRP ETFs. And BlackRock doesn't lose, right? BlackRock has taken one loss on their ETF filings, like 551. So this is, gaining more and more institutional attention, big money flowing in. You're going to see, a $6 to $9 trillion total market cap in crypto at some point. Coinbase just put in for a futures contract for Shiba, Chainlink, Avalanche, XLM, Polkadot to get futures trading in the in the CFTC. That's commodities. So this stuff often is a precursor to ETFs. So I do think that, sometime in the future, you're going to have your Bitcoin ETF, your Ethereum ETF, which is debuting soon. You're going to have ETFs that hold blue chips, and, that mainstream adoption is coming. And so for me, when I'm looking at coins that I was interested in months ago, and people were saying is now a good time to buy Tectum, and Tectum was at, $20, $30. Now it's at 7. Aitech is at 13 cents. All these coins are super cheap. Whatever it is that you like, now is the time. So if you like them then, you should like them now. And I've been accumulating. Let's see. Dino says money equals fun. It does. Now, Eli, I'm not eyeing the Caspa memes. I've seen a lot of people looking after the Caspa memes. I'm sure there's tons of money to be made there. It's not by me. Omi too slow and too scared. Gonna go for the Casper relaunch this weekend. Justin is still buying Omi, and I hope that Omi makes a new all-time high. Yeah, Venom is sick on Vivi. I actually sold my OTK, Eli. Still in profit. That's one of the ones that I consolidated into my higher conviction plays. And for me, my biggest conviction, the gaming coins, I've consolidated my gaming into my two biggest plays are Naka and Mcade. And let's pull up Naka. I do believe that winners keep on winning, and we can look to earlier in the cycle to see what was strong, to look at what's going to perform well and be strong. And Naka is very strong price-wise. Went to $3, holding above $1.80 million market cap. So for me, I think Naka has confirmation from the market. I think they have, a robust gaming ecosystem, and I think that they're going to continue to perform well. I still hold games for a living. I still hold G Swift, but in smaller positions. Naka and Mcade are my two biggest gaming positions, and Mcade to me is very similar to Naka in terms of how, in terms of like it's got play to earn tournaments. They're partnered with a AAA game in Wilder World. They're doing a lot of things that look similar to Naka, but they're doing their own thing. The only thing with Mcade is that they don't have confirmation from the market yet. They haven't had a real big run. So for me, like something like Naka is a safer bet, but Mcade has more upside coming from a $15 million market cap, fully diluted. So those are my two biggest gaming tokens. Yeah. And another reason why I love Mcade is because I love Russ, the CEO. I think he's smart. He wants to win. And when you hear him talk, he talks about wanting to beat Naka. And so I DCA into both of those and I hold them equal weight. And I guess now we can, I showed this chart often in terms of, price potential on the coins that I hold. And you can make this for whatever coins that you hold, right? I'm not saying that these are the winning coins for this cycle. These are just what I hold. And this is what I do for my coins in order to, get an understanding of where I think the possibilities are, how to value them this cycle. So something like Naka, which is now at $1.25, $80 million market cap. I think a $4 billion market cap is doable, which would put it on par with what Gala did last cycle, right? That'd be a 20x. Now, MK doesn't have that confirmation from the market, but if you look at, a 20x for MK would just put it at a $300 million market cap, right? A 50x would put it still under $1 billion. And so that's what I talk about, risk reward. I think that Mcade's a little riskier because it doesn't have that market confirmation, but it's got more upside. And so I'm holding them both. And, I encourage you to whatever coins that you hold, because there are so many of them, if you have conviction in it and you're thinking about what your strategy is going to be, this cycle, when you're going to exit. In order to have an exit strategy, I think you have to have an idea of, where things could go, because you don't want to sell too soon, but you don't want to sell too late, right? You want to be realistic. So that's why I made this, just to help guide me. And the beautiful thing about having the second chance in the market is that, we were buying. If you were buying Naka at, $2.50, it was $160 million market cap. The multipliers have gone up, right? Buying it at $1.25, you now have a good shot at a 20x to a $4 billion market cap. If you're buying TET at $7, that's a 10x to a $550 million market cap, keeping in mind that TET just was at $45, right? Devve was at just under $2. It's at a $10 million market cap. So if the narrative plays out on Devve, it could do 100x and still be at a $1.6 billion market cap, which for a layer one, that's not that big. So I updated my chart today. I'm going to add coins to it. Loading up on Devve and ETH. Nice. To pay for gas fees. Yeah, and Devve, anyone who bought Devve after launch is red, right? Unless you got in on like the first pre-sale. The second pre-sale on Devve was 40 cents. So even if you got in on the second pre-sale, you're red. Devve's been slaughtered. But, I have to remind myself, it's hard to buy, right? When you see something get so cheap, sometimes it's hard to buy because the sentiment is so bad. But, I have to remind myself why I liked it to begin with and ask myself, do I still like it for those reasons? And the answer on Devve is yes to both. I like Tectum more than Devve just because, again, it's got more confirmation from the market. I feel like it's a safer play, similar to Naka Mcade, but there's more upside in Devve. So I hold both. Ron, for me, I still have OTK, but once we saw their gaming projects bridging to Solana, I advised to not buy anymore and that I just keep what I had. Yeah. Right. And so OTK really stood out early on. And Ron put that out when he first saw it. It was at a super cheap market cap. And that was when Solana was just heating up. And that was when that was, I don't know of any other game, I guess, aside from Star Atlas, which is a standalone. So it really stood out. But the thing about gaming, which I still think will have its run, is that it's going to be so cluttered, right? You have to be picky. And so, again, highest conviction for me. Yeah, MAM AI. I thought that MAM AI had potential if they leaned into like the meme aspect of it. And they had a good run up, but inexperience and, some infighting. And then an advisor, stealing all the not stealing, selling and tanking the price. Gaming, I'm sticking with Mcade and Naka. Yeah, I still hold G Swift in a smaller amount, games for a living, and I still hold playable games. But Mcade and Naka are my two biggest gaming positions. I'm going to have Russ Mcade on the channel next week. He just did an AMA today over on the Mcade channel. Yeah, TET is absolutely a great price. Let's pull that up. But Tectum could go lower. And that's the thing, people are expecting, if you look at crypto Twitter, there are a bunch of influencers talking about the market's going to explode right now just because we had a good weekly close and it's July. And everyone's talking about the market's going to explode. Historically, I'll get to Tectum in a second. So historically, July has been very green for Bitcoin, right? Just look at it. It's been very green. Also, historically, if you look at 2020, which was the last halving, the month after the halving was June. The halving was in May, I believe, right? So we were red. And then after that pullback, 24% up. And so I think people are looking at this red June and this consolidation period. And now they're looking at July and they're thinking it's off to the races. But it could be, some more rangy action for a couple of weeks and then a slow, recovery and then run in the fall, which is what happened the previous cycle, right? The 2017 cycle. Here we go. If you look at the 2016, I think the halving was around here, July. Yeah, so we ran up just before the halving, up 27%. And then the market Bitcoin was red for 2 months. And then it was a slow move up, 6% up in September. And then it started getting more aggressive, 14% up, 5% up, 30% up, started ripping. So, my train of thought is to be open to multiple possibilities. And maybe we get some more rangy action in July, up gradually in September, and then things really start cooking in the fall. And if we get more rangy action in July, maybe we see Tectum at $4. Right? And if you look at it, broke below, $10 and then $8 was the level of support. So it broke below, and you see the next real, area is $4 to $5, which sounds crazy to think of Tectum at $4 to $5 when it was at $45, right? Or people were asking over here in the 20s if this was a good time to buy, right? But now, and that's like the psychology of the market, right? People question, is now a good time to buy? For me, Ron calls me DCA Danny because I try not to time things too much. And my method is to DCA and not overthink things. I try not to get too greedy to the downside. And so I bought a bunch of Tectum in this $7 range. I'll buy a bunch more soon. And that's my strategy, because ultimately Tectum is something that could get conceivably into the hundreds of dollars, right? Tectum has tested successfully 3 million transactions in a second. So it's the world's fastest layer one, broke the record. It's a Bitcoin scaling solution. So it's got the layer one narrative. It's got the Bitcoin narrative, right? Hot in the heels of, the ETF. And so I really like how it's positioned for this bull run and the potential. And it's got some confirmation from the market, right? We saw it do well. And so to think, again, Tectum is something that could get to, I can see it at a $5 billion market cap, which would put it at $750. I think that's totally conceivable. And it's currently $7. So again, I'm looking, I anticipate at some point this market's going to rip. We're going to get our alt season. And when we get our alt season, I think some of these are going to absolutely go nuts. And if you just look at the last cycle, this is today where we're at. And look at the top 100 coins. The 100th coin is Decentraland. It's got a market cap of 650 million. Go to last cycle. This is 2021. This is during like peak cycle. The top 100 were all well above $1 billion, right? This was 1.2, which is twice as high as what Mana is now. All right. So consider that the coming cycle is going to have more money flowing into it and go from a 3 trillion total asset class to probably 6 to 9 trillion. And you're going to see top 100 coins, the 100th coin might be, a $2 to $3 billion coin. So do I see something like Tectum as possibly being a top 100 coin? Yes. And that's what I'm thinking in terms of what do I think could crack the top 100, top 20, etc. Because there's so much room. Too slow and too scared, by the way. I don't know what that's a reference to, Justin. I'm going for the Casper Mint. Really like the Casper ecosystem. Yeah, and I just missed, Casper is something that if you got that early, talk about people, crypto minting millionaires. Congrats to anyone who caught Casper early and wrote it up. It's Where's it at? It's top 15. 24. It'll be a top 20 coin. $4 billion market cap. So it's going to obviously, you're not like they're having like their meme coins spring off of it. I think the smart contracts have been deployed. So congrats to anyone who got in on Caspa. I would buy TET if Devve didn't exist. So the thing about, that's what you're talking about, too slow. But the thing about Devve is that they use sharding to get their, and they haven't shown to do it yet. And they use sharding. So Tectum doesn't use sharding. We'll see. Cubic is supposed to be doing, which uses like sharding and AI and stuff, supposed to do even more. I like them both, and I hold them both. But again, I think Tectum has confirmation from the market, and I love the soft note narrative and the Bitcoin scaling solution. So, and then Devve has the green narrative, which I like also. So it's not PvP. I'm sure they're both going to do well. And I hold them both. I'm going to buy a bunch more Devve though at 25 cents. You can buy like 10,000 Devve now for like $2,500. Super cheap. Soft note, game changer. I don't follow Illuvium like that. I know that did the game launch? And Illuvium got very high last cycle. But I think since then there's been a ton of dilution. Yeah, Illuvium was at like almost $2,000. It's at a $500 million market cap. Yeah, I'm not sure. I prefer gaming ecosystems, so like Myria and things like that. From what I hear, Illuvium is cooking up a good game. Ron says, agree with the game holds. If you like gaming, Myria and Wild are two that have shown to be winners. Like Wild, especially for high conviction play. Yeah. And Myria, let's see what Myria is at. I would just be selective. And now, the good thing about this market is now you can be selective. Right? When everything is down, you have tons to choose from. You don't have to market cap hunt. $75 million market cap on Myria. This is a very good buy. Had an all-time high. I think it was at like a 200 million or so. A lot of these have heavy dilution also. Myria, not Mcade. Naka will have some dilution, not as bad as Myria. Devve has had a ton of will continue to have heavy dilution. But I think when the market really heats up and we get an alt season, it'll eat through those, the dilution. Dino says, I have Cubic. Abe in the house, what's good? Appreciate your content. Are you a fan of Definity or Bumper? No, you know what? I looked at Bumper. It didn't stand out to me as something that I really liked. And I haven't looked at Definity. I looked at it briefly. So this just launched in July. The chart looks pretty good. $7 million market cap. I haven't looked at it too heavily. But I know like Crypto Rain likes it. And I see some others. So it's probably worth taking a look at. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. So I'm also going to have I think I'm going to have the CEO of MintLayer on, or the founder of MintLayer, come on. MintLayer has been absolutely beat down. That's something that I held alongside, what was I buying that with? I was buying that alongside Tectum, because it's a Bitcoin scaling solution also. And it's been absolutely hammered. The chart looks, like a lot of other charts, but down to a $21 million market cap. I think it's a really interesting project. So I'm going to be having this guy on pretty soon, maybe next week also. There are so many good projects and good deals in the market right now. And my favorite RWA play is still Rio. And here we go. Now, Rio is back at a $71 million market cap. I was buying this at 11 cents. And I'm positioning myself in different narratives. RWA, AI, layer ones, and gaming. And I'm just going hard on my highest conviction plays. And I think that as the institutional money continues to pile in, Larry Fink now being a major figure this cycle, already talking about tokenization of everything. If you don't have some RWA plays, it's probably a good idea to get into some. And there are some others. I know Land Share is another that's a super small market cap, under 10 million. Here we go. But that's how I'm positioning myself. RWA, AI, etc. Justin, thanks for the super. DCA Danny. Sometimes I'm DCA Danny. Sometimes I'm DGen Danny. Let's pull up. A lot of crazy, I think that this market's about to get absolutely nuts. And it's important, not about like imminent, but it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. And it's important to stay focused on what your core thesis is. I see a lot of people, I was saying months ago that my brother-in-law, my brother, my nephew, my niece, my father-in-law, they were all hitting me up, asking me what they should buy, but giving me stacks of money to buy things for them. No one is hitting me up right now, but this is when they should be hitting me up. Because if the thesis is the same, and that is that we're going to get a crazy alt season, and the total market cap of this space is going to blow up and go to $6 to $9 trillion. Think about the money that's gonna. Think about the market caps that some of these projects are going to get to. And in 2018, 2021, you had only 3 coins reach reach $100 billion market cap. You're going to see more. You're going to see more hit a $50 billion market cap. So you had 3 in 2018. We had 9. It tripled in 2021. 9 coins hit a $50 billion market cap, right? And they're right here. Polkadot was one of them. So what's that number going to look like this cycle? If the math is the same, you could get over 20 projects with a $50 billion market cap. And think about where they're at now. And so again, if the thesis is the same, then they call it a reaccumulation phase for a reason. Yeah, when they flap their gums, sell signals. Isn't it funny? Yeah. there are so many things that in hindsight you can see as sell signals, right? Retail coming in here. Yeah, when it's the top, family are calling us like crazy. That's a sell signal. When the market is down, they think we're insane and mock us. 100%. When Chuck was running to, $10 million market cap, $20 million market cap, $30 million market cap, people were super eager to buy. When it's beat down, $3 million market cap, it's crickets. When Tectum is at $7, people don't want to buy it, but they want to buy it at $20. So it's, in this game, momentum breeds momentum, and people chase green candles. It's cliche, but that's cliche for a reason, right? That's true. My father is also a top signal. He's 84 years old. Every time he wants to buy something, it goes down afterwards. Right? He buys in. He wants to always buy into pumps. So last week, we were sitting in the yard and he was telling me that he wanted to buy NVIDIA, or that he was seeing NVIDIA like cross the $3 trillion market cap. It blew by Apple. I told him don't do it. All right. So he didn't do it. But he'll call me when things are up and pumping and ask to buy. And I got to tell him, Dad, don't buy now. But then I feel bad telling them ever to buy, right? So they have to learn on their own. But I find this something like looking at a spreadsheet like this at historical values where they were and like projecting out. You could see, so last cycle, there were approximately 275 projects that hit $500 million market cap, right? A $500 million market cap. Projecting out, could we see 500 to 750 projects? And then, could one of them be like Mcade, Playable Games, Bumper, whatever it is, one of these coins that right now people would tell you that you're crazy for buying because they're at a $7 million market cap. But do the multiples and do the math, right, of where that takes you. And again, looking at now, this is where we're at. There are only 4 coins above a $50 billion market cap, right? Not counting Tether. Mo Collection's in the house. What's good? How you doing, brother? So we'll see how this all plays out. Again, the ETF is a game changer this cycle. The ETH ETF was rumored to launch today, right? Bloomberg was talking about the ETH ETF was going to launch today, and that didn't happen. So it looks like maybe next week or so, the ETH ETF will happen. And then maybe that will get, the markets going a bit. I do anticipate that this July will flip green, as historically that's been the case. But I don't expect it to, I don't expect a 30% pump in Bitcoin this month. What are your top 4 or 5 low cap, high conviction plays? So I'll tell you what they are in my, in terms of position size. Rio is my biggest position. Relio Network, which I talked about before. The majority of it I bought at 11 cents. So I'm up quite a bit, but I've been averaging up on Rio. A lot of times we talk about averaging down, and it's hard to average up because it's hard to buy something. And I was guilty of this, and it's another lesson, right? At 11 cents, I was buying Rio. And so it went to 50 cents and, it did a 5X. And in hindsight, I should have added more because I had conviction in it. I thought that, I thought this sector would play out. I really like Rio in terms of like its social metrics and how people always mention it when they talk about RWA. And so I liked it, but it was just hard to pull the trigger on something that had already 5X'd for me. But if, winners keep on winning and averaging up is a good strategy as well as averaging down. So I've been accumulating Rio at, these prices. It's at a $70 million market cap. And where could it go? I could see Rio easily passing $1 billion. I can see a $3 billion market cap on something that's RWA, because when, people talk about how to value things, and all this is like nonsense, right? I mean, these are all speculative. When I buy a Rio, I'm not using Rio, right? It's all speculation. And people assign value to things based on, what sector they're in, because like a total addressable market and things like this. So, when you look at an RWA play, which the total addressable market is trillions of dollars, right? You're talking about all of real estate. I could see people valuing Rio, in the billions, or any strong real world asset play. So I think it can do many multiples. I think it could still 50x from here. So my point was, if something has been given confirmation from the market, if you think something can, get it, still do a 50x, even though it's 10x for you, sometimes it makes sense to average up. So Rio is my number one play. My number two is Aitech, which I've talked about a lot. My number three is Tech. 4 is Mcade. 5 is Naka. They're pretty much equal weight. And 6 is Devve. So these right here are my top 6 low caps. But there are so many good low caps out there. Even something like, I like Karate Combat, which I held at one point, but I took profits and rolled it into something else just to consolidate my holdings. I can see Karate Combat, which is hosting, a bunch of these fight tournaments, or not tournaments, cards with, notable crypto people and projects sponsoring them. I can see this doing well. $22 million market cap. And it's in like, gamble-fi, I guess, sector. But like the whole UFC. Imagine if like Joe Rogan talked about Karate Combat. Any small match can like light a fire in this crazy space. What's up, VV Zombie? Yeah, Earth 2's been around for so long, and that makes me not like it. Is one. It's got a low market cap, like $500,000. So, and they've been around, so it's not a rug. But I'm not a big fan of a metaverse stuff. I think is last cycle, and they've been around for a while and haven't. Let me look it up. Here it is, Earth 2 Essence, right? It's just a token. I think I checked it out last week. It was like a $500,000 market cap. And again, and we could do very well. WAN, let's pull it up. WAN. Yeah, WAN chain. $36 million market cap. I'm not very familiar. What is this? What kind of token is this, Justin? I have a concern this bull run how the overwhelming excess of tokens, is going to dilute the market. Yes, more money will come in, but the amount of new coins is insane. So 100% the amount of new coins is insane. That's why it's important to be selective. I think that 99% of them are going to be shit. Many of them are just meme coins that are going to go to zero. Like when you hear that 1 million tokens were minted, most of them were Solana rugs. So I do think that there's going to be many more tokens out there. But that was the case last cycle also, right? And so I'm not overly concerned. But that's why I think it's important not to go out too far out on the risk curve, right? If, it's a coin that no one's talking about, no one's heard about it, the chart has been flat forever, I think that there are probably better options out there. If you look at from the first cycle to 2021, there were many more tokens last cycle than the first cycle. But there was also a ton of more money, right? Talking about a 760 billion total market cap to 3 trillion. So I think that there will be many more tokens this cycle, but I think that we're going to $6 to $9 trillion total market cap. And so I think that there will be more tokens over that will surpass $1 billion market cap, right? If this math plays out in a similar way, maybe we'll get close to 400, maybe the top 400 tokens will be $1 billion market cap coins, which means you don't have to pick a top 100, right? If your coin makes it to the top 400 and they're all above $1 billion, I think that's very feasible. So the money will be spread out more. But I think there will be much more money to spread out. So, the pie grows, but, whatever. That analogy. I don't even know what analogy I was making there. Oh, there you go. WAN chain is 2018. So, and I try to stay away from older coins. In crypto, again, pumpamentals trump fundamentals. So I'm looking at mostly first cycle coins in hot narratives that have, a strong narrative themselves, strong team, decent tokenomics, etc. If it's been around since last cycle or before, it's got to be super strong for me to look at it. It's an exchange. Oh, there you go. Mo collections. Yes, winners keep winning. This is the way. Right? And oftentimes, I'm not actively searching for coins every day. I'm pretty much accumulating the ones that I found that I like. And that I have conviction in. Because there are an endless stream of coins that come out constantly, right? So it's hard to keep up. First, 2, it's hard to keep track of too many coins. That's at least for me. I try when things were pumping at most, I had like 22 tokens in my portfolio. I'm probably down now to maybe like 17. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 15 tokens right now. Yeah. But unfortunately, people are going to get rugged, right? There'll be more and more rugs. This cycle is probably the craziest. You would think coming off of last cycle with Sam Bankman-Fried and all the crazy stuff that went down, that the space would grow up a little, especially now as like we're institutionalized, right? We got institutional money, but the space should be institutionalized for being as crazy as it is, because it's crazier than ever. You've got like all these rugs coming out. You've got Iggy Azalea and, Jason Derulo and Hulk Hogan rugged people. Hulk Hogan's coin should have been called Brother. But, you're getting all these Bruce Jenner. This is a crazy cycle, and you're going to see, I think, more and more craziness. And then at the end of the cycle, you'll probably see people like Jason Derulo, catch a lawsuit from the SEC and be in that, that meme of the clouds with like, all the crypto heaven. Do Kwon's there, and all these people who went down. Sam Bankman-Fried's in the clouds. You're going to see people like Jason Derulo and whoever else. Doc's teams are huge in this stage. Yeah. And that was also, there was another coin. It was a Bitcoin. I don't know if it was like a D-pin. A lot of the thing is with, they're savvy. Scammers are savvier than ever. And they have all these tools, AI. They can create a website that looks off the hook. They can pay influencers that are well known to shill. So Node Synapse was, shilled by Gem Hunter or a bunch of guys. And so it's easier than ever to run a scam. And unfortunately, it happens. Big A, my portfolio is pretty safe so far. Looking to add some low caps. I'm basically 90% Bitcoin. Nice. Wow, average entry 3,400. ETH, average entry 171. Nice. Large AVAX bag. Did throw 2K at Tectum a few days ago. That's a nice bag you've got there. Good prices. OG. Tectum, I think looks good. We'll see how it plays out. They hosted, I listened to their Twitter space today. They're looking, their objective is to make Bitcoin spendable and mainstream, right? And so it's a narrative. The thing is, a lot of these things are not ready. Like, we're not there yet. And so this is all just like, we're gearing up for another speculative bubble, right? Like, last cycle, the metaverse was the big thing, and Facebook changed their name to Meta, and all these coins were popping up that were metaverse, but we're nowhere near ready for the metaverse, right? We're ways away. The Apple Vision Pro just came out, and it's still clunky and heavy and expensive, and normies are not going to use it, and the technology is not there, and people aren't ready for it. The same thing with, tokenization of everything, real world assets. They're going to fly this cycle. But it's important not to delude yourself into thinking that this is a thing right now and that all real estate is going to be tokenized. It's, we're gearing up for another speculative, bubble that's ultimately going to collapse. Yeah, Ram in the clouds. Sexy Red launched a coin. Yeah. Like, it's not going to end well. Sexy Red. It's funny. We're going to see more and more of this stuff. I will not buy. I mean, maybe I would have bought Hulk Hogan's coin if it was called Brother and I got in early. Maybe I'd let Hogan rug me. But, I'm not letting Sexy Red rug me. 90% of them are not going to end well. I missed Tectum Space, but saw the telegrams say nothing was going to happen until September. So many were thinking of selling. Oh, we'll see. I think Momentum breathe. I know that a lockup just ended on staking. And so people were selling. That created selling pressure. I think once it broke chart structure and let's see, broke below $8, maybe, I don't know, maybe $4 is, dialed into the price. We'll see. I will say, I wouldn't personally, I don't try to time things like, something, they're going to gear things up in September. I think if this market turned and alts started running, Tectum's going up. It doesn't matter, you know, timing of like their releases, etc. The market's gonna take it. And so I try not to get too cute with that sort of thing. But I'll just continue to DCA. I'll be DCA Danny. And if Tectum, drops some more, I'll add some more. I bought Solana at, $20, $15. I bought it at $40. I bought it at $8. When it went to, 100 and got back to 180, $200, I wasn't upset at myself for buying at 40. So I think that I just continue to accumulate. Yeah, Justin, if you were tired off Sexy Red, that'd be amazing. Maybe Sexy Red will be in the cloud picture next cycle. But I can't imagine people buying into Sexy Red. Now, Hawk Tua, that's a different, that's different. That's a different beast. I got it in at $8. If it goes to $4, I'll buy more there. I'm using extra money. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Extra money, as long as you're safe and all that. But all these things are super cheap. So I freed up a bunch of money to take advantage. And I'm just gonna buying these bad boys right here. Maybe a little more chuck, and maybe I'll chuck some at another meme. And then I'm just holding. I thought my bags were packed a few months ago. But every time I think my bags are packed, I pack up some more. So, but like I said, long term, if the thesis plays out like we all think it's going to play out, then these prices are a gift. OPSEC. Yeah, Mo, I know. I remember you talking about OPSEC. OPSEC solid. Here we go. $60 million is AI. And AI is not going anywhere. Nvidia broke 3 trillion, and I think it's corrected pretty hard since, but it got so high. But AI isn't going anywhere. It's only accelerating faster and faster, and AI coins are going to continue to do well. This past month has been brutal on most of these low caps. So you think we get another month of down? I think I'm kind of, I think Bitcoin's going to go sideways for a couple more weeks. So I do think we could get some more down on, I think alts, they'll continue to bleed. But I think Bitcoin's going to turn the corner soon. I think we may close, maybe we close July green. And then I think it's going to play out more like this 2016 cycle where it was red and then it was like a slow recovery, right? 3 months of gradual gains, nothing crazy, and then a 30% increase. That was the end of the year. And then it had let's see, 2017, yep. And then it ripped right into 2017. little, 23%, down 10, but then ripped again, 32% up, 52% up, 10% up, 65% up. I think that's how I see it. A gradual, leveling out, slow ascension. And I think August, September, especially if we get rate cuts in September, which we'll see. And I think it makes sense for September rate cuts because you got the election coming up in November. And so I can just see that playing out. And then, I think we're going to be running in the fall. So we'll see. Maybe we bleed out a little more, but then I think it'll be a gradual correction, and then we should really start moving. GPU, nice. My AI play. Yeah. And my AI play is Aitech, but there are so many, and I hold a couple other AI tokens. Oh, yeah, Node AI. All right, I've heard of this. All of these are going to run. $70 million market cap. Doxed, good socials, building always. Yeah, good communication is important. You got in at 8 cents. That's OPSEC. You've been talking about OPSEC for a while. Yeah, LAI is riskier. Older, but they still get featured on X Spaces with KuCoin. Yeah, they're on a lot of exchanges. I like the narrative for LAI. There's been FUD around them also. People have been claiming that they are scammy or whatever, but they're still building and they're still there and they're still active. So you get these claims often. That's Layer AI, which is beaten down. $5 million market cap, super low. There we go. I still hold my LAI. Agree. I'm feeling we start up in September. Yeah. But I think that also bleeds many alts till then. Yeah, it's possible. Targeting big alt buys in August. But maybe I need to start nibbling now. The thing is, because who knows what's going to happen, right? You don't know when the market's going to turn. And so that's why I just DCA. It's just too hard for me to try to time things. And the prices are so good, right? I try not to be greedy to the downside. But that's me. Mo says, peace out. But I do think, a few months ago, if you had asked me when is this cycle going to top out, I would have said, end of this year. I thought we got a head start. The ETF, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high before the halving. It was crazy. And so it looked like we had an accelerated cycle on our hands. But, this market finds a way to just repeat history or at least make it rhyme. And, the longer we go sideways, I think the further out this bull run goes, possibly into next year. Historically, if you look at other cycles, this cycle would top out around September of 2025. So it's really impossible to predict these things. We look at the best thing we can do is look at history and try to figure out how things played out and predict how we think they're going to play out. But DCA Danny, that's what I do. That's my strategy, and it takes a lot of the anxiety out of it for me, because if I see something running up and I didn't buy it, I don't chase, because it's part of the plan. But there we go. Been on for an hour and 15 minutes. I want to thank you all for coming through. I've got some streams. I got some time on my hands, so I've got some streams coming up. Russ from Mcade will be on the channel next week. Maybe the Mint Layer CEO, and I'm going to get some familiar faces on here as well. So I think tomorrow I'll be on with Jordan Riz, talk about some Chuck's crypto roundhouse. But thank you all for coming through, and I will catch you guys in the next one.